Hello, all right, this is Ken, and I am recording a narration over a high-speed drawing that I did recently. This is kind of a test. So let's get right to it. You're watching 300 times the speed of me sketching a blue line idea for the Santa Hulk drawing that I recently did. Um, there's not much to say about it, except it's going really fast, and that's kind of cool. Um, when I'm drawing digitally, I like to go really loose and really rough, and I do a layer of blue lines just to figure out the layout, the um, general form, and then like this, I created a second layer, as you can see, where I'm going to start um, putting in some of the detail for the drawing. Like I've said a million times on my live drawing, I always start with the eyes. I always find that the eyes are just the window to the soul, the most focal point of any character drawing. So once I have a general idea of where my shapes for my figure are going to go, I have to figure out exactly the eyes. What expression has he got? What's he conveying to the person? Now, as you can see here, I'm not following the blue line hardly at all. It's just more of a idea. Um, I'm intentionally doing this drawing rather quickly. Um, and by quickly, I mean this took about 45 minutes to do in full color, but um, even sped up, you'll see that I didn't take a lot of time on the details. I was just trying to kind of play with the idea of recording the screen and maybe doing some narration and just figuring out how to do a high speed drawing video, sort of as proof of concept. I should point out, I obviously don't own the Hulk. This is fan art for me and not something that's for profit or even promotion. I'm just kind of playing with the idea of doing some drawings digitally, recording them, sharing them. And it's Christmas, so I kind of felt like doing some Hulk and Spider Man Santa hat kind of, festive fan art. I love the Christmas season a lot, and it makes me feel like drawing something fun. So I decided to do inks in this in any color but black. So as you can see, the Santa hat and the bag are going to be a red. I'm going with a deeper red for the inks. Just felt like it added something different than normal comic book black ink style, while still having generally that same kind of feel. And you can see shortly when I start to do color layers how that all turns out. Um, Not sure what I was thinking with the belt here, uh, but it's kind of fun to watch this at high speed. I'm sort of entertaining myself. You see a glimpse into my mind too as you watch my cursor wander. Um, Sometimes it just goes around doing next to nothing, uh, even at 300 times the speed. And it's funny to me to watch my own, uh, like watching my pencil just not do something for far too long. This was me trying to figure out a crop because I didn't want to do a full body thing at first. And so now I'm wandering the options there, trying to find a way to crop this image because I'm not doing this in Photoshop, which is usually my tool of choice. And this really is because I like the way that the pen works in a Metabang program. So I did the line art in Metabang, and then you'll see there's a cut later on here where I'll cut into doing this in Photoshop, where I play a little more with the colors. Again, very rough. This isn't a major showpiece or anything. It's not going to be very clean and it's not going to be very elaborate, especially when you see the colors. But it was fun. So for me, just fun. I liked I like playing with the color of the pants too. I thought my Santa Hulk would have red pants, even though you never see the Hulk in red. not even the Red Hulk. I'm not a huge fan of the Red Hulk, but that's maybe I'll do a video on that whole saga for another day. It's interesting for me sitting back watching this again as I'm not drawing it now, and just seeing how much I changed from my original blue lines there, like this leg I'm doing now ended up not being the same, not staying in the same position. And I do like the ability to zoom in and out. That's something I can't do too much of with a real pen and paper, although I'm often known to back away from the image or from the paper and close up physically, like look closer. Digitally, you can get like 300%. So now I decided to start throwing some color in. And again, this is very, very rough. Uh, I would like to have narrated it more carefully, but it's going super fast. There's a couple of ways that you can color digitally. One of them is just using the select tool to select your area and fill it in. I kind of, because I'm old school, approach it with the same. I want it to feel like I'm coloring, like I would with a marker or colored pencil. And so I like to take the tools and physically actually color it the way I'm doing here. Then I remove the lines and then I'll do some filling. The thing about that is it's kind of messy because the edges of my brush weren't crisp. But I didn't feel like scribbling in the whole time, so I just kind of cleaned that up as I'm doing now with the brush. And I would normally do maybe even more cleanup than that. But this, again, this was for fun, and I was the whole time kind of imagining. Here I am doing the select option where I didn't draw it at all, and I'm trying to just select the shape that I want to use. And then I'm going to change to the red and select my paint bucket tool, and I'm going to do it wrong. Yep. I love this too. This is so dumb because you can see all the mistakes I made. See, I just accidentally undid all that. Wow. Why would I show the world me screwing up while I'm drawing? Now there, I'm testing out different pens in this program. Metabang is not my the program I've used the most, but it is a program I like using a lot for drawing and inking. I can show you examples of things I've done there. So I totally abandoned the select option tool like I was trying to do at first and just went back to coloring it. And I can change the size of my brush too. Like I made it smaller there so I can get a little finer line. And I'm just trying to get the shape basically in there. And I'm probably going to end up going in later with an eraser or a smudge tool and tweaking that. When I get to that stage too, again, I'm doing it very rough. It looks very rudimentary. Even when it's finished, it's not exactly a tremendous showpiece. There's that select tool. Let's see if I get this right this time. All right, do it. You got to unselect your layers. There you go. Oh man. Notice I didn't make those white. You almost never go for a truly white um, thing when you're trying to make something look white. It's never really actually white in reality. Um, this is very rough too, but it's that's again that select tool. Select the shape. Now with Metabang, you have to deselect your layers of other things like the line art. Otherwise, it won't fill in those moments. Whereas in Photoshop, if you're on a different layer, it'll fill in the whole thing. It doesn't care what's on the layer in front of it. And I think that's something that they do to make it easier for the layman. But since I'm used to doing things in Photoshop, and it really is my preferred method of coloring, Photoshop. The differences are slight sometimes, but the little tiny differences make uh, I'll make all the difference. Make things harder. See, I can see things I got to clean up now. I'm already going over the edges, and I'm just trying to get a solid shape. This is what's called flatting, by the way. Some people may not know what that means as far as comic books go, but a flatter is the person who goes in and just makes the basic flat colors, the shapes behind the line art for a illustration. So this is flatting, and it is not my favorite part of the process. It's actually the most tedious and the least creative. Um, I had stopped giving a shit right about here about staying in the lines. That's pretty obvious. I just thought, trying to get a means to an end here, which was wanting to get to a place where I could transfer this into Photoshop and do some shading. Shading is the more fun and creative part of coloring. Gotta do the handle there. Yeah, color it by hand, Ken. Cool. You can back up, back in, zoom out. And now that I'm seeing I've got most of my Hulk colored, I'm probably gonna start to do a background. I think. Touch up. Oh nope, still touching up. After I touch up my edges of my flat layer of colors, then I'm going to add a layer and make a blue background. You see me selecting from the color wheel up there. There's a blue. And again, I screwed it up there, so I had to go back, unselect all the other layers, and then make the whole thing blue so that my layers on top of it could be seamless. This, again, I'm testing out an idea here. I'm hoping to do some different high-speed videos soon of some original work for Hatched and for my new book, The Elder. But right now, whenever I want to do something or test out an idea or just relax drawing, I'm probably going to pick a Hulk. Nothing I like more than drawing the Hulk. Sped up, this is about 18 minutes long, and we're somewhere around the 13-minute mark right now coming up. There's times I miss my cursor, so I don't know what I'm doing there, and it may be that I'm thinking about my next move or trying to figure out my next move. I love watching time-lapse videos of artists who are really more prolific than I am. Watching my own is almost painful. It's kind of like listening to my voice on the radio or on a video like this, which I will not be listening to again. Oh, hey, a couple minutes are going to go by here where my computer is thinking. I don't have an especially fast processor, and at the moment I was doing this, I had a Photoshop open with a bunch of tabs because I was in the middle of doing a lettering project for the Global Defense Force series. Issue number 4 is coming out soon, and I'm doing the letters for it. So shout out to Brian Hitzman and the Global Defense Force team. This is the 4th installment of that series, and I've been involved with every book since its inception. Brian came to me some years ago, hired me to draw the first book. I brought my man Adam Wilkinson on for penciling duties because I was just swamped at the time. So then Adam penciled, I inked and colored and did lettering as well as the cover. Issue number 2, then I did everything on my own because it was an easier time. I backed out on the 3rd issue, though, and let my man Mohammed Lubis, the great Lubisan, whose pinups you've seen in Angel's Blood 1 and 0. Lubisan did the art duties for issue 3 and part of 4. Issue 3, I did coloring and lettering. And then issue 4, I was just brought on last minute to replace the letterer. And so I don't have a lot to do with the creation of this one, other than the original looks of the characters I created from issue 1 being continued. And So Brian has me on, and it's kind of just cool to stay a part of that saga as the legend continues to grow. And as a freelancer and an independent publisher myself, I like building my network, and so getting my name into as many indie books as possible. So there's a dissolve, and we just switched now into Photoshop, starting already in progress, and it'll switch in a minute so you can see the flat layers because I already started working on this. I'm taking a spatter brush and adding snowflakes. Usually I use red for this and make it blood splatters, but it seemed really cool to do white and make it snowflakes. First I did them on the blue back layer, and then I selected the foreground and I'm putting some snowflakes in front. You see that's back and forth from flat to shaded. I'm going to do even more shading than that, I believe. And again, I'm actually going to apologize because that's pretty rudimentary shading, and I'm not even using a proper brush for it. And I'm essentially using the burn tool for that. Not even my favorite method of shading. It's just a quick and easy way to throw something together. Yeah, it looks kind of rough. It almost looks like a high school art project. But again, this isn't for publication. This isn't for print. This isn't for show. This is just for fun. I'm just horsing around with that burn tool right now. Jeez. I don't know what I'm doing in the background there. But yeah, I was just playing a little bit, really. And what's really good about art is that it's fun and it's good for the soul. And sometimes you do it for reasons that aren't really productive. Um, it's almost like a game. Like I suppose if you're into sports, if you're a sports guy, maybe you like to play a little basketball, um, just in your backyard with a hoop, right? Um, I guess I don't. I'm not like I said. I'm not a sports guy, but I imagine you would play for fun, um, or a musician. You play your instrument or you sing, not always for a productive or financial monetary reason. You just do it because you love it. That's why I do most of my art. I still try to make some money and freelance and sell comics, but I do it because I love it. So this is me trying to figure out a title for it. I want to just have it say Merry Christmas. I'm going to play with fonts until I find the right one for this picture. Most of my fonts are a little more gothic or um, dark looking because I usually do something like Angel's Blood or something about demons and monsters. And almost done though, so I'm just playing with the size of that. And this is something I wanted to post to Instagram and Facebook and stuff just to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. I did a Spider-Man one the other day. Um, I didn't record the time lapse or didn't record it in a time lapse, but I did record the drawing of it. So maybe I'll take and transfer this